introduction. Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome back to Doomlink's Live Hunts. We are once again in Generations Ultimate, and I do have a beverage with me today. It's a very nice beverage, probably the nicest that I've had on camera in a little while, at least as far as beer is concerned. I decided to go all out and get a really good Imperial Stout, hopefully better than the last one that I had on camera. I don't know if it was the last time I was doing Generations Ultimate or the time before. Whatever one started off with a new Carlos hunt. In that recording, I had an Imperial Stout called Death by Snoo Snoo, which I regret to say was not as good as the name was funny. But having said that, the name isn't especially funny either, so maybe that was a fairly accurate indicator as to the quality of the beer. But anyway, you know, it's kind of funny, I guess. The beverage I have today is, I mean, this is a wax-sealed bottle to start with. It's, you know, a bit... It's by Moondog, that is the brewery. Now, while the previous one was called Death by Snoo Snoo, which may or may not be appealing to a person, this one is called Black Lung. Black Lung 10. It's called Black Lung presumably because this is also a skeleton. It's funny that I think, yeah, the last one was Mountain Culture. That was the brewery. This one is, well, the manufacturer, whatever you want to say. This one is Moondog, and they both have skeletons on them. Well, this guy's actually a man with a skull on top of his head, and inside the skull's mouth are several cigars. 5 to be exact. So yes, he would probably have a black lung. I mean, you probably can't see it. And he's holding a skull with, I believe, even more cigars in its mouth. But if he is actually a skeleton, he doesn't have to worry so much about his lung turning any particular color. I had two choices when it came to Black Lung beer. There is Black Lung 11 and Black Lung 10 that I could have chosen. I chose this one because it has peated whiskey barrel-aged smoky stout written on the back, as opposed to Tennessee whiskey barrel-aged smoky stout. Now, if it were a choice between peated whiskey and Tennessee whiskey, there isn't a choice. So I went with this one. And I hacked away a little bit at the wax, just because I didn't want to be doing that on camera. It's a bit dumb, you know. I'm not going to be sitting here hacking away with my knife. Like, literally, I have to use my this is my Swiss Army knife. I've been using this to open bottles recently, and I had to whip out this baby, you know, to hack away at the wax. But let's see if I can actually get. I'll have to put it on my thigh to actually have proper leverage. There you go. Unfortunately, I can't get very much of it on camera. There you go. Oh my god, the top's coming off. The top is coming off. It'd be nice if I could point my mouth towards the microphone. Anyway, I just didn't want to make a spectacle of me opening the bottle because it's not especially interesting. I mean, most of you come here for Monster Hunter, not to see me opening wax-sealed bottles of Imperial Stout aged in smoky, peated whiskey barrels. Okay. So, or perhaps some of you do come for that. In which case you'll be sorely disappointed going forward because I'm not going to be drinking this beer regularly. Or beers of its kind. I pulled out my Westvleteren, what is that, 12? Yes. How would I forget that? Westvleteren 12 glass, because it's a smaller glass and it is very appropriate for savouring the beverage that you are consuming. Particularly if it is beer. You know, you're going to enjoy it a whole lot more if you don't have a giant fucking glass, like a large chalice. This is a small chalice. This is effectively a chalice by design, but it is small. And it says on the back, ad edificandum habitiam aduvi. Now, in case you didn't know, I don't speak fluent Latin, and I believe that it's Latin. It looks a bit Latin. Anyway, aside from that, I mean, what I just read has absolutely no significance whatsoever to the beer that I'm consuming. This is a... well, actually, it doesn't say it's an Imperial Stout now that I look at it. No, it has no mention of the word Imperial Stout on the bottle. That was my mistake. I was thinking of getting a different Imperial Stout, but I ended up getting this, you know, Smoky Stout, whatever they call it. So, we'll see how this one ends up tasting. This one is 12 ABV, 12% alcohol by volume, which is one of the reasons why I want to savor it. You can see that the nature of stout is that it does match the golden rim of glasses of this nature. And I think I might have said nature twice there, in which case, I guess I'm feeling especially inarticulate today. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how it tastes. Oh wow. I'm not too sure yet. I have to really think about this one. This is the first time I've had a beer where I actually have to sit and think about it for a little while. The immediate impression is that I'm not too sure. Because the immediate flavour that touched my lips was something rather sweet, actually. Which I'm not so much a fan of. It's smoky, but there's a sweet smokiness to it, which is precisely why I avoided the Tennessee whiskey version. I'm also trying to taste the peat, which I've unsuccessfully tasted, but we'll try again. Sometimes inhaling a bit of air through the mouth can excite lingering flavour notes. Haven't heard that said by anyone before, I just randomly said that. That's my personal experience. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I just spent $36 on this bottle, so I mean, it's a lot to spend to not be especially enamoured with the beer, but that would be about right. Every time I join a room that has, you know, one spot left, I can't get in, so whatever. What I don't like about it is that it's sweeter than I expected. It's not sweet as like a honey sweet or anything like that, it's just, it's got this... Imagine that there's just a small amount of it that's sweet that just cuts through and it leaps into your mouth, and I let it sit in my mouth for a little while there. Ran it across the back of my tongue. I'm getting a bit of the peat. Let me put it this way, if I wanted a peated smoky flavour in my beverage, I'd get a Scotch whiskey. I wouldn't get it through this, you know, this if that was my goal, to get a peated smoky flavour, this is not it. This was, you know, if you want a stout with an interesting flavour, go for this, sure, but, yeah, I don't know, it's a bit too sweet for me. Also, hello Tal, and hello Yells. I'll change equipment, says Radiation. Okay, well, I'm glad that the room is continuing on. Sometimes when the host leaves, it's some sort of prompt for everyone to clear the hell out and try again. When, to be honest, it's not necessary at all. I do come from 3 Ultimate, well, I say that, it's not the game I started in, but I say come from 3 Ultimate in reference to the last game that I played, which was 3 Ultimate, who would have thought. In that game, when the host leaves the room, everything is closed. You basically have to connect to the online again, so I don't really know why, even in this game, where that does not take place, the host leaving can sometimes nuke the room. Except everyone leaves by choice. It's very weird. How has my day been? It has been pretty good. I got back from work a short while ago. Ended up having to walk home in the cold. I left my jacket at work. I could have gone back for it, but I thought, nah, fuck it, I'll be alright. And then I missed the train that goes to the stop that is closest to my place, so I had to get the train that's further away, so I ended up walking in the cold. It's not super cold, it's maybe, probably something within the region of 13 to 14 degrees Celsius. Which is kind of cold when you're in a t-shirt, but it's not, I'm not going to get sick. I'm not going to get sick from it. I'm not going to be like the Japanese, Kaze chao yo? I won't. I'll be fine. Because the reality is that that trope doesn't reflect my reality as a human being on this planet. So we had Kushara Daura on the board. Yes, Kushara Daura, that is his name. To be completely honest, I should be saying Kushala Daura. That should be what I'm calling him, but I say Kushala Daura because a lot of the names that I first heard pronounced were pronounced by an American. And so, if I ever have what would sound to be a rather American pronunciation of certain monster names, it's because the first time I heard them said aloud was by such a person, so it rather coloured my formative years of learning to pronounce the monster names. And I'm not all that happy about it. The best thing to do is to match the Japanese pronunciation as best you can, without literally saying something like Kushara Daura or whatever. And then there are other names that are literally Japanese. Let's do this, says Radiation. LOL. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to fucking depart with this, because Radiation is saying, let's do this. Now, when a person sends the message, let's do this, I think all of us are aware, courtesy of prior experience that has in fact been recorded. This isn't just something you need to take my word for. You can fucking watch back and you'll know this. When someone says in the chat, in-game, let's do this, it's on. The timer has begun. I've got around 60 seconds to join, otherwise I can go and look for another room. That's not to suggest that I've been kicked, it's to suggest that they've departed without me because... Did you see how quick that was? It's almost like the button was going to be pressed to depart whether I read it up or not. That is the reality, ladies and gentlemen. There's no such thing as waiting in this game. Well, I suppose there is, but there is no such thing as waiting patiently. That is a novelty. That is something that is damn near extinct in the community. At least from my experience. Yeah, well, that's what it's for, Tal. That's what it's for. What am I doing? Okay. But yeah, you'll be... Unless your do not disturb mode on Discord gets in the way, you'll be able to jump in early on. Frustratingly, I did not actually top up my drinks anytime recently, and certainly not prior to departing on this quest, which is an oversight and downright negligent of me, and I regret it deeply. Moving on, I'm using a weapon that is appropriate pretty much whatever I'm fighting. I would have actually preferred to use a dragon weapon. My head is very much in 3rd gen Monster Hunter and generations older than that. But here I am in 4th again and it feels very weird. I suppose I'll just get used to it again, won't I? As I always do. Can you shut up? 2 roars in a row is just disrespectful to the team. We've got better things to do than stand here waiting for you to shut your mouth. Okay? Now, hitting the neck is the second... What is going on with you? Oh, is this... Yes, I see what's happened here. I'm actually in danger myself. Basically, what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen, is this is not a standard Kushala Daura. This is the event. This is the one that hurts a lot. Although, isn't that one called Legend of Zelda Triforce of Courage or something like... Legend of Zelda Courage, I think is what it's called. In reference to the Triforce of Courage, but the Triforce is not actually mentioned, okay? So, stop, I'm on my hands and knees, and I only barely managed to shield that. I am so fulsomely beleaguered that I'm actually about to wet myself, okay? So if you could stop. Stop. It's okay. I'm free from the... You see, he tries to help, but what he's doing is he's creating a higher chance for the monster to run after me by standing next to me. I know in his own little mind he thinks he's helping, but he's not. He's reducing the DPS of the team by, you know, stopping the attacking process to try and get me out of the snow, and then he's furthermore drawing the monster to me. So on two fronts, he's actually succeeded in achieving nothing more than... If you hit me one more time, I might scream. I'm not actually going to make any promises one way or the other, but I will say that I might scream if it happens one more time. You know what? It wasn't the same guy, I don't think. Or maybe it was. Maybe I'm his fucking target. Maybe Kushala is, you know, it's collateral damage if the Kushala is hit. The target is in fact me. For goodness sake. Anyway. Oh god. The black wind. Need some poison. Awesome flash bombs, awesome head flinches, you know. One of those three would be great. I don't carry flashes because I'm too good for that. But you know what's going to become problematic? It is hot drinks, because I've only got one, which is currently in effect. It is not in my inventory, it is in my stomach. That is some of the most pathetic flash bombing I've ever seen, but at least you worked it out in the end. I can't complain, you see, although I just have done. But anyway, I was going to say that I can't complain because I don't have any flash bombs to throw in the first place, but, you know, I obviously didn't follow that line of logic through to the... Oh! You know what you... Oh, never mind. I would have assumed that to be good positioning, but it would have been a fluke anyway. There you go. Trying to get this head as it flails around. I could have actually enraged guarded that, but I'm not actually that alert. Not as alert as you might think. I'm going to be spending this whole recording trying to evaluate how I feel about this beer. It's complex. It's more complex than a lot of beers that I typically drink. And I do enjoy that part of it. I think it's just that underlying sweetness that's bothering me. But once you get used to that, and once you expect that that's what you're going to be tasting, you start to enjoy the other aspects to it. And there is a lot going on in this beer. It is nice, and I can taste the peated whiskey. Not just the peated whiskey itself, but everything that goes along with that flavour. You know, there's complexity thanks to that, and also thanks to the process of the stout brewing. But yeah, I'd say it's good. I would not review it poorly on an objective level. You know, I personally may not like the flavor that much, but the quality of the beer, pretty good. I think it's a good beer. Good flash bomb. I would love to use Enraged Guard before using Corkscrew Jab. If I could actually have them both work, that would be really good. Are you going to do something to me? Do something to me. Why did I... That's called being way too nervous. Oh, yes! At least you did something to me. Oh, I managed to get a red lance. I think the red lance is the best that you can get. That's really good. I'm very lucky. Very lucky. Whoa. Stop it. Basically, it converts the amount of damage that you would have taken to some kind of lance power-up. But anyway, I don't think it's exactly that. You've got different tiers of damage that it can reach, and this is, as far as I'm aware, the highest tier. Yes, I know, I belong on my hands and knees, I'm a lance user, okay? Put that on a fucking shirt. Wouldn't that be a good thing to put on a shirt, like a Monster Hunter themed shirt? When I say Monster Hunter themed, I mean, you know, pre-5th gen, because that's not Monster Hunter. I always have to clarify that, otherwise someone's going to misunderstand. I belong on my hands and knees, I'm a lance user. That would be a great little quote. Actually, to be honest, I can use a Mega Dash Juice to completely nullify the effects of being cold. So about that corkscrew jab, I do need to find an opportunity to make use of that. I can't actually get over how much these guys are hitting me. It's actually worse than usual. So between dealing with being flinched by my teammates and dealing with wind pressure from this monster, my DPS is in the toilet. It's a wonder that I've managed to do this much, really. Oh, that was a rectal examination if I've ever seen a corkscrew jab. Well, I suppose that is the intention of corkscrew jab. It rather references duck sex, because, you know, duck penises are a corkscrew, as I was apprised of some 3 years ago by a friend. And, yeah, corkscrew jab just makes me think of duck sex, so it is appropriate for me to thrust into the Kushala's anus, although I suppose duck sex isn't necessarily sodomy, but I don't know enough about ducks, so I'm not going to make assumptions. Anyway. But speaking of sodomy, I am wearing a shirt from the band Sodom, so it kind of works. But that's different. That's Sodom and Gomorrah. That's a Bible reference, you see. Or a biblical reference, I suppose, would be the more appropriate way to phrase that. Oh, you see, I was hoping for a double counter there. One counter for the roar, and then a follow-up counter for the wind pressure, but you see, that was not necessary. Oh, my fucking neck. My neck hurts. Oh, I'm glad that we do have whatever it's called. Feline insurance. Feline insurance, yes. I'm not French, in case you needed me to spell that out for you. Look at that little poke. It would have done almost nothing, but it looked nice. And it looked very deliberate. And I suppose it was, but... Look, if it were a case of me not having dealt any damage, if I didn't do that, I suppose it's better that I did do that. Wouldn't you say? And yes, for anyone wondering, I am using Bludgeoner. That is the skill I'm using. I already have Corkscrew Jab charged up again. See, I didn't think my DPS was this good, but maybe it's acceptable as opposed to downright miserable and an insult. It seems that Radiation also forgot hot drinks. Wow. The 2 Huntering 999 users do not have hot drinks in a cold level. And that may not bode well for the group. What I mean to say is that victory in all quests going forward might be a little difficult to attain or achieve. Because we all suck. That's what I'm trying to say in a very roundabout way. Stop it. Don't fucking do a follow-up. Hey, very good. Never mind. I thought it was a head flinch. It was a neck flinch. It's different, okay. I'm not doing Corkscrew Jab until I can be assured of the fact that it will connect successfully. Like now. Do it! I fucking press the buttons to do it and the game just refuses to reward me with what I deserve. Yeah, okay. I'll just waste my shield assault. Thanks, says Radiation. Yeah, that is not the area where Kushala sleeps. He has flown straight to his sleeping area now. It would have been nice if I had the Corkscrew Jab for the wake-up, but it is possible that because the Kushala head is so small, a Corkscrew Jab would miss it almost irrespective of where I chose to angle myself in relation to the head in question. Which would be very funny. I think there'd be a lot of appreciation for that. Are you asleep? Yes, you are. Supplies have arrived. Well, they're not necessary because we didn't do so bad. I don't think that was actually a Kushala dealing more damage than normal. I think I just happened to be hit with a really damaging attack that made it look like that was an especially damaging Kushala. Do we have any other bombs? Okay, the Hunter Rank 999 doesn't have bombs. Good on him. Fuck it. See, that's what it means to correctly detonate bombs, guys. That's what it looks like. It's called letting the bomb deal the damage. And I do say bomb singular because you're not going to get a multiplier on multiple bombs. That would be pretty inordinate in terms of damage dealt. Yeah, I really like this beer, actually. I just had to get used to that flavor note. When you breathe through your nose and the air goes through the back of your throat, it sort of, as I say, excites the latent flavor of and taste of the beer, and you get a little bit of that peat, smoky flavor / smell through your mouth, and it's good. This is what it means to have a complex beer. You're not just sitting there going, although that perhaps isn't the typical manner in which a person would consume a beer, making that specific noise while doing this. But to be fair, I did mean that, you know, people just drinking without really thinking about what they're drinking. There's no real consideration given to the flavor or anything like that. But this is something that you give a lot of consideration to. And not just because you paid an arm and a leg to get a bottle of it. Alrighty. What shall our next hunt be? I'm assuming that it is a turns room, although it may not be. I didn't actually check to see what the objective was. It's, yeah, a turns room, because there's no such thing, ladies and gentlemen, as a non-turns room that doesn't have a specific objective. It simply doesn't exist. Alright, that's what I need to do. I need to top up my drinks before I forget. Radiation says that he's changing his equipment, although I don't think anyone's decided on what quest is going to be posted yet. Presumably Radiation posted that last one, or perhaps it was What 0802. Can someone explain to this person that you don't need to have a unique name in this game? Which is to say, that if someone had already taken the name What, without the numbers, he'd still be able to use the name. That's alright. Yeah, I'm assuming that What 0802 was the last person to post. Because otherwise, you would imagine that everyone would be stamping their feet by about this point. Ugh, which is not happening. But they could be in the same position as me and they were not paying attention. Alright, let's actually bring this exact setup. I could also bring water, but I do have a preference for dragon when it comes to Teostra. Although I don't think you need dragon damage in this game to break the horns. I keep forgetting that. That's a second gen thing. That's DOS, Freedom 2, and Freedom Unite. Well, too bad. I'm a traditionalist, so I shall bring my dragon damage, and I think it ends up being better than water anyway. In most cases. Can you believe, I mean, I would say that I set myself up pretty quickly there, and I'm still keeping people waiting. Can you see this guy? He sent the message, let's do this, and he's frantically checking to see what I'm doing. Is this your last opportunity to play the game ever, and you're on a time limit? Is that what's going on? I can't see how else you could be so profoundly impatient. Look at that. Is he part of a competition to see how many quests he can depart in within a set period of time? with a $1 million fucking reward for first place. I don't know. That's really the only way I can make sense of it. As comfortable as I am with old Sword and Shield, this is still comfortable. Because in the end, it's very dynamic, very fluid, and it's still Sword and Shield in all its splendor, minus the jump forward on the X plus A. Instead of a jump forward, it's a slide forward, and your legs do a very unrealistic maneuver, and it's very ridiculous. But aside from that, oh come on. You barely caught me in that. You motherfucker. Who am I? Oh, Tommy Wiseau, that's who I was quoting there. I was like, who the fuck, who talks like that? Oh yeah, Tommy Wiseau. Anyway. Let's keep out of the way of those explosions. But yes, I'd like to be aiming for the face, if you can imagine. But I'm not getting as many opportunities as I would like. No, you do that to me. That would have killed me, actually, you know. Because, ow. Because I was blasted. And of course, if you are hit while blasted, it hurts especially. Incredibly, in fact. So Radiation has posted twice as a Hunter Rank 999 user in complete disregard for his team. Is that what you're saying? It's possible, I mean, shit. I mean, one of the people here is Hunter Rank 52. I think he's got a few things to do in the game. And you're suggesting that Radiation has completely ignored this person's desires? It's possible. I mean, I wasn't paying attention to who posted the last one, but if that's true, then Radiation might actually suffer from mental damage of some kind. Hey, good one. Good flinch. Oh, thank you for that. That's precisely how I'm going to achieve maximum DPS in this moment. Fucking ridiculous. Imagine having a head opportunity and the first thing you do is upswing with your fucking switch axe. This is exactly why switch axe users should just be taken out the back and shot. Sorry, did I just say that? Ignore that. My point is that let's amend what I just said. What I meant to say was that switch axe is not as good as charge blade, and people who use switch axe should consider upgrading. Yeah. Upgrading. I now have Chaos Oil, and I would like to hit the head as much as humanly possible. So you have to time it in line with his lowering of the head. Because I have such limited range with this sword, I can't very well be swinging it while his head's in the bloody air. See that? But then I, you know, achieve this expert timing only to be aggressively charged into by the monster. So perhaps it doesn't have all that much value. You can get your bloody switch axe out of my face. He's Hunter Rank 999. He's posting quests of his own. Again, in complete disinterest and disregard to his fellow hunters. Despite his hunter rank. And he's using switch axe. So, I mean, whoops, I went the wrong ass way. But that's alright, Radiation can get in there nice and quickly. He can do his upswings without harming me. So good on him. Good on him. Quite unusually, he really didn't end up there much earlier than I did, but they end up being close to the monster, so that's fine. Of course he has a hitbox on his tail when he swipes. I think I may have rolled through it, Yells. I think that might be what you're talking about. Are you kidding me? I can't shield this. See, I thought when he flew away previously, I thought that was going to be his supernova. But I was dead wrong. He was flying away. So, I had since forgotten about that. And so I was on the receiving end, face first, of a supernova. And yes, it did hurt. See that? See how I roll through the tail? That doesn't mean that there's no hitbox yells, it means that I'm playing the game correctly. That is the point. Let's sword dance the face, and hopefully not get fucking upswung by Mr. Switch Axe Wonder Boy over there. If he can possibly restrain himself. To be fair, I've been watching him since, and he doesn't constantly upswing, so maybe it was just a random upswing and it happened to hit me and it was just bad luck. It's entirely possible. But the fact that he did it at all is not really something to celebrate or to appreciate. Every time I drink this, I feel like I get a new flavor. Not like a totally new flavor. What I really mean to say is I get a better reading on what's in my mouth, as if my ability to interpret what my taste buds feel and are registering is more in-depth. Which I suppose makes sense, you know. Like anything, one's perception improves with experience. And as I continue to experience this lovely stout, it just gets better and better. Because there's a lot going on. Hey Darkser. And that's main objective complete. I didn't really contribute to that last round or barrage of damage dealing, but that's alright. Good job, Radiation. Really appreciated that switch axing and the fact that you've posted 2 quests, presumably, without giving due consideration to your fellow hunters. It's very good of you to do that. And then simultaneously press people who might need more than 30 seconds to get ready for a quest to depart in short order. Have you ever used Valor Style? I could never get into it. I have used Valor Style precisely 0 times. 0 times. I can count the number of times I've used Valor Style on 0 fingers. Okay? That is the situation. If Valor were even close to being worth using, I'd at least try it. But because it doesn't reach that threshold, it doesn't cross that threshold, I haven't given it a try. Even Prowler, I've given a try. And the game rewards me with a large Elder Dragon Gem for speaking the truth. Seriously, I've at least tried Prowler. And quite frankly, Prowler has no business existing. It can, sure, perhaps I'll rephrase that. I don't like it. If people want to use it, they can, but it doesn't do anything for me, so its existence means nothing to me. That's what I'll say. Perhaps we can admit that it has some business existing, as sort of a fun experiment. But, yeah, I've used Prowler. I used it once to see how it was, and then after that, I never again used it voluntarily. I used it twice again, only because I needed items from an arena quest, in fact 2 arena quests, that required the use of the feline. I think it may have even been part of a chain of quests, whatever you call that, villager request system. Yeah, I think it was a part of a villager request line. So, therefore, I was forced to do it. Twice. So I've only once voluntarily used Prowler. I know it was a question of style usage and not weapon type usage, but I feel that Prowler sort of falls into that category of things that aren't worth using. Why do you keep posting If he kicks me for asking, then so be it, but why do you keep posting? Can I fit this in? I think I can. Can I fit a question mark in? I can. There are lots of fish in the ocean, Radiation. I can move on, but why do you keep posting? There's someone in this room who's 157. Aren't you gonna ask if maybe he has something he wants to do? Large older dragon gem, he responds. Well, I guess it's technically your room, but you could at least do us the courtesy of updating the room information to reflect your objective. Imagine being at Hunter Rank 999. Establishing an objective as basic as Large Elder Dragon Gems and then forcing people to do it with you. Without even having the decency of including that in the room information. He's stringing along a Hunter Rank 57. Actually, this guy already has the basic bitch set. Look at him. He was lucky enough to get a fucking Challenge Sheath plus 10 triple slot at Hunter Rank 57. Oh, whatever. I'm not sticking around in that room. I might catch stupid from that guy. And that's a pretty nasty ill condition of the mind. Daenerys. Or Daenerys. I don't know, I didn't read A Song of Ice and Fire, nor did I, well, I did watch a Game of Thrones a long time ago. More than 10 years ago. But aside from that, I don't know how to pronounce it. And I don't care. Eddie. Let's join Eddie. Let's see what's going on with him. Thank you for the follow, Magnum. You know what I haven't done? I haven't actually nosed it. Let's give it a nose. That's very aromatic. Oh, it smells better than it tastes. You know things that smell better than they taste? That's this. That's this beer. Oh my god, that smells divine. It's very similar in smell to how it tastes, but it's better. The smell is better than the taste. I don't know what Eddie wants, but he's got an interesting set. Wow, good on him. I have so much respect for this person. Can we just sit back and appreciate what this guy is using? Now, for me personally, his set wouldn't work because it doesn't have focus, but he's using a greatsword. He's using an armor set that is not fucking Nesset. He's mixed the pieces. He has sought to acquire skills that are only relevant to his style of play and the weapon type he's using. He's clearly made a conscious effort to do that. While he doesn't have focus, which for me is the fundamental for Greatsword outside of raw resistance, and he doesn't have raw resistance either. But you can tell he's really put his mind to making a Greatsword set, and he's done it. And it's a good set. It's not the sort of set that I would make, and I think that it does suffer from a few disadvantages, but two notable ones. But I have so much more respect for someone like this than some other guy who just grinds for Nesset and slaps on damage skills. This is how to play Monster Hunter. In my opinion. Everyone's got their own style. And I mean, you know, I don't mean in-game style mechanics. That's not what I'm referring to. Everyone's got their own way of playing the game, their own methodology. But this is a lot more respectable in my view. I'm not sure what he's doing though. He might not have realized that I joined. I did check his room info. There's nothing here that... Oh, what irony. After all of what I just said, look at what he's doing. He's grinding Atal'Kar. to make the adult car set. Oh well. Maybe I'll have to withdraw those remarks. But anyway, still, I can respect his armor set. He's literally standing there like, I only have this because I don't have adult car yet. I want to get rid of this as soon as possible. And I'm lauding him for it. Layla with an incomplete Mariner set with attack up small and yeah, not much else. It's possible that this person is currently in the process of building their armor set and I'm being dramatic. Or perhaps not. Let's not give people the benefit of the doubt in this community, Doomlink. You know it's never worth it. Are you going to depart on a quest with that? You know, you don't have to literally sacrifice your armor skills if that's the visual appearance that you want to have. Like, if you want to have bare legs and not have any headgear on, you can do transmog. You don't have to, you know, only have attack up small. But I suppose this person doesn't have an alternative to this loadout. They were in the middle of building an armor set, and apparently any alternative would be so inappropriate that it's not even worth using instead of this while they make this set. You look very butch. Look at that face. Did you see that face? She's got a meat pie of a fucking face. I can't believe it. Look at that. Well, maybe it's not too bad. It looked a little bit worse from a distance, but this is fine. HR4. Layla, while other join, I'll do this. Why? You've got a G-rank dual blade setup with at least attack up small. Normally I would rather be more communicative, but I don't have a keyboard in and there's a long story associated with that. Seeker, doing Kushala, not interested. I'd rather join whatever that says. Ferduk, Thunderlord Zenoga. Well, it depends on the level of Thunderlord that we're talking about here. Let's have a look. If it's high rank, I will be gone with such lightning speed. Get it, lightning speed. Thunderlord Zenoga. It was topical, it was a topical comment, but I thought it might have been a little bit too expert as a humorous statement to be picked up by your average viewer. He says in a completely sarcastic and tongue-in-cheek fashion. This person is not even the host of this room. I am really quite appalled by the quality of the rooms I've joined thus far. You'd better have something good to post. Fucking hell. It's my fault for leaving that room I was in, I suppose. While I didn't agree with the fact that the Huntering 999 guy was dictating to the room of lower ranked people what we were going to hunt. You know, maybe that would have been better than trying to find a better one. Stonefist 10. Ladies and gentlemen, my pessimistic expectations have been surpassed. I was sitting here going, oh, I bet it'll be high rank Thunderlord Zenoga. Well, guess what? It's not even fucking Thunderlord Zenoga. It's Stonefist. High rank. This game, or perhaps not this game, but rather its community, is a travesty upon the surface of this earth. Okay. Turn. Here we go. An actual turns room. Hosted by Huntering 999. Now, I don't need a turns room. I have no objective, okay? I'm here to hunt and have fun. But I at least want people to be willing to help others, to give others an opportunity to do what they want to do. Goodness me. Silverwind G5. Well, thank fuck that it's G rank, but I can't say I'm all that enthused by the prospect of doing yet another Silverwind. What do you mean, Doomlink? What's wrong with doing Silverwind? Well, let's have a look, shall we? Silverwind Nagakuga. I think I've done enough. That's Silverwind. Look at Nagakuga. Combine them and you have the square root of too many fucking Nagakugas killed. That's what you've got. So, I'm sick of this. Officially. But that's my only option at this stage. Alright. Serra Sediment. Why am I using this? Because I'm lazy. Because I don't have to think about what element I'm using. I don't have to think about the elemental weakness of Red Helm. Which is... yeah, I've got no idea what it is. And, you know, I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm dealing good damage, because it is good damage. You're looking very pretty, Arky. Anyway, let's depart. Let's get out of here. Silverwind G5. I'd rather run a knife up the underside of my penis. If I had to really think about it. Why I decided to relate this experience to that. Why am I consuming rations? That's a very interesting habit, which I'm not going to furnish with an explanation. Why didn't you gun point at Doomlink? Well, because I'm weak. I'm a weak man. Oh, great. I was doing something of interest there, but it was ruined by team flinching. I do like being in sword mode with Charge Blade, because again, it's just a slower version of one of my favourite Blade Master weapons. Which is interesting, it gives it that impression that it deals more damage than perhaps a Sword and Shield would, and it does, I suppose, but that does depend on how you use it, perhaps. In the case of both weapons, really. Hey, thank you for presenting your head to me in that way. Oh, well, that was very good of you to drop a smoke bomb. I'm glad that you're keeping on top of that. I was thinking perhaps it's a little too early for the next monster to be spawning, but maybe he knows better than me, and he... oh, never mind. I was about to say, he knows better than me, because I saw a shadow being cast. Thinking that that was a monster invading, but no, that was actually Silverwind Nagakuga spikes flying through the air, and furthermore, I can't imagine a Red Helm Arzuros flying into the area. While it might be similarly difficult to imagine him digging out of the ground, at least that's sort of plausible. Whereas him flying around or dropping in from the heavens, that goes outside of my imaginative capacity. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you track a monster without lock-on. What's lock-on? Or rather, I actually meant to say something else. I meant to say, where's lock-on? How do I lock on? Is that what it's even called? I don't even know what it's called. I think it's lock-on. But yeah, it was a little joke that my friend Ethan would constantly regale me with. Every time we played an older Monster Hunter game, he would be like, where's the lock-on feature? How do I lock on? Point is, you don't need to do it. You can just play the game properly. I think it all came about thanks to the 3DS. And that's a long story. Very good. About that invading monster, there he is, he's over there, look. I can see his little ass waving in the distance, perhaps not waving, I guess. Moving? Yeah, just moving will do. I don't really want to comment on the appearance of the movement, beyond simply acknowledging it as movement. Because I've already used the very inappropriate term of waving, so I don't want to further embarrass myself. You guys are getting dangerously close to that Arzuros, and quite frankly, I don't think you care all that much. Really, it's against all the odds that you haven't pissed him off already. Oh, I was interrupted from my sharpening, I didn't even notice. It would be nice if I could pay better attention. Okay. I narrowly missed that attack, and I'm glad that I did. And that is a dead G5 Silverwind. Oh no, that might not be the G5 level. I think the real G5 Silverwind is the last one. That one might be a lower level. I believe this one has reduced health, because the health is, again, reduced, proportionate to the number of monsters that it is attached to. Basically, the confrontation is a two-part confrontation between Redhelm and Silverwind. And so both of these two monsters will have reduced health. And then after this there will be a confrontation on its own, treated as its own fight, a full health G5 Silverwind Nagakuga that must be killed after having succeeded in the two-part confrontation that took place before it. That's what makes this quest a little hard. I'd actually rather do the EX, to be honest with you. I didn't guard point that, surely not. No. I mean, the timing was similar to what would have ultimately resulted in a guard point, but I don't think that happened. Okay, so you're just running around now. You weren't running around to then attack us, you just ran around. Which is great. Whatever makes you happy, Arzuros, seriously. I do love that big uppercut swing that he makes. I really should use energy blades soon. I do enjoy that hunter art. Ugh. Let's not waste files now. I might use Ripper Shield to get my files back this time, rather than reloading. Well, my roll timing wasn't good enough there. Oh shit. I don't have a way to avoid this. Fortunately, I was in the right position. But yeah, I didn't actually mean to do an upswing there. Okay. Why do I keep making a statement and then following that up with okay? I need to get out of that habit. You'll find people who don't do commentaries regularly wouldn't understand this as much, but very occasionally you'll just get into these random habits that aren't even from anything in particular. You just randomly start speaking in a certain way, and it honestly is dumb, and you have to tell yourself to stop. You're just getting weird habits, long story short. Ow, I just got sat on. The reason why I stood there and did nothing was because I was trying to use Energy Blade, but it worked out rather well because had I used Energy Blade, I would have been interrupted by being sat on. See, I knew that I would flinch him, but unfortunately due to the connectivity issues, or the ping level, which is obviously a little high, he ended up flinching after he hit me, apparently. Supposedly. And he's dead. Very good. Actually, I could have gotten my charge up a little bit more, but now he's actually dead, which means that I can't hit him, and I hate that. I don't like that at all. It actually would have been a whole lot more helpful to get healing materials from these monsters. It's one of the rare occasions where I would perhaps prefer that. I'm not in need of healing materials, but it would be a lot more friendly for them to do that. You know, if I could have an endless supply of this beer, I think my life would be complete. Although I suppose you'd get sick of it after a while, wouldn't you? Even if it's a really good beer, if this was all you had, if this was all you ever drank, you'd really get sick of it. And it would lose the appeal. But still, it's very nice. I may as well top up my sharpness, just for good measure. I will try to use Ripper Shield, but I'm going to be at great pains to find the opportunity to make it work. We need a knockdown for it. That's the only way. Even these little flinches here aren't good enough for a Ripper Shield. Ripper Shield takes a while to resolve, once it's begun. That was so stupid. Why did I do that? Here I am mindlessly trying to evade the first of 2 tail swings in one single attack. But then, you know, the inevitable result is me getting hit by the second because I try to roll the first and then get hit by the second. I mean, that's just normal. But for some reason I still got caught in that very foolish and obvious trap. Nope, don't get caught in that attack. See, he has follow-ups like that because he's relentless and he's, you know, G5. Although I don't think his attacks change depending on his level. Look at that! Isn't that ridiculous? That's fucking unfair is what that is. I'm getting beaten down. I literally have no recourse except to shield, and I do thank you guys for the support, really. I thank you a lot for the support. Because that was dangerous shit. Oops, did not mean to do that. I thought I was doing something different to what I was actually doing. Would it be better to actually hit the monster while doing this? Yes, but I want to boost my damage. I will sharpen up soon, but I'd like to get in and deal a little bit of damage before doing that next. I went for the upswing there so that I could get the attack out faster. If I were to wait for the forward motion of the charge blade in axe mode, I think I would have missed the head, or, you know, something like that. I had the feeling that the monster would move in that time. So I went for the upswing. Oh, not the shit again. Why am I really need to sit down and very carefully think about what I'm doing with myself. To twice fall for something so obvious. What one should do is get ready to dive. That is the actual fucking solution to that situation. Or the most obvious one, at least. Fuck off. Alright, let me get this out, and now I can aim to do Ripper Shield, and in fact I'm going to try to achieve it, regardless of whether or not I have a good opportunity to get it off, and I think an opportunity is presenting itself. Which, you know, it would have been an opportunity, except, you know, there's a Charge Blade user on the team. Let's not start saying Chim instead of team. I'm not Japanese, they say Chimu. Chimu. You know, I'm not fucking Japanese, okay? In case anyone needed to be informed of that. Well, I did successfully roll that, it's just it has an extended hitbox, which is to say that it's not just one... Okay. Sure, we'll go with that, thank you. Brilliant. I don't think it's worth, actually, max potioning that. Let's not be too profligate with our life powder consumption. To be fair, we might need them for situations that are actually rather dire. You know, I appreciate the support, but I don't want to see life powders being misused. You know, I was not in a risky situation there. Ow. The team seems to be doing rather well, though. We are keeping on top of our game. We're, I suppose, just doing the hunt, letting time pass, and eventually, as the clock continues to run, we'll eventually win. We'll eventually deal the damage necessary to kill the creature. So, there you go. This is the thing, when he's fucking around doing things like this, it's very hard to actually get in there and deal damage. I know what the last hit was, or at least I have a good idea of what the last hit was. And I believe it was that beautiful second attack that I whipped out there. A lovely slash to the face. That looked great, it felt great, and I'm pleased to see that we succeeded with not too much damage having been suffered. Either we had insurance, or no one died. So that was very good. Sorry, I didn't mean to ping. Aki is like, what are you pinging for? Sorry, I didn't mean to. I think that was Aki's way of saying, what is it? And that was my way of saying sorry. For the accidental ping. Yeah, very good, this bottle. Black lung. You know, I started to get all sorts of romantic ideas in my head about a peated whiskey flavour in a stout, but it's not, it didn't really meet those romantic ideals that were in my mind, but still. Or perhaps romantic ideas. But yeah, the beer's still good. I'm enjoying it. Yes, my first impression was not especially positive, but as I suggested, I think it was more of a measure of my expectations not being met. This is what happens when you expect the world of something. It wasn't that my expectation of quality wasn't met, it was my expectation of the flavour. It wasn't what I was wanting to drink in that moment. But once I got over that, and started to get used to what I was tasting, I started to enjoy it, and I'm enjoying it at the moment. It's good. My immediate comparison for smoky beer is that seasonal Schlenkerler Urbock. And that was nicer in my opinion. It achieved that smokiness, it had a beautiful flavour, it was just what I wanted. But wait, was that HR8? Why? Stop. I don't want to do high rank fucking Kushala. Who posted last? Must have been Aki. Did Aki post? How can I tell? Yeah, Aki did post, because Aki was the red player in the last hunt. Alright. Well, that would mean that, realistically, it would rotate back to Hero Lou. Hero of the Lou. Sounds like some sort of advertisement for a toilet cleaner. But, sorry, that's rather culturally insensitive. But I don't care. It's what it makes me think of, and I'm being honest. Now, what would I like to use for this? Something fun. It has to be something fun. Let's do Rapid Dragon. This is fun. I can get a lot of enjoyment out of this, but I do have to be careful. I can't shoot my dragon shot during Black Flame, because it won't do shit. It'll probably get deflected back to me, and it'll be a sad time. So I have to actually bring combination materials for shots here. Wow, who would have thought? It will be bone husk and I think Dragonfell berry. And I do have them. Okay. There you go. 75% chance? Well, have to bring these two, don't I? No, I actually have to change it. This is frustrating. I have to use an item set, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe it. Look at this. Doomlink using item sets. Appreciate it while you're witnessing it, because it's a very rare sight to behold. Doomlink using item sets. Wow. Relax, I'm setting up. This is how things are, Aki. Gunners, once upon a time, did require setup time. That's me. That's what I'm doing now. I'm setting up for the hunt. Take it easy. You can spin in a circle as much as you like. It will not speed up my setup process. Alright. I think this will do. I should be... After all that, you'd better not change the fucking quest, man. You absolute cum stain of a human being. Did he change his mind because it took too long for me to get ready? Well, I'm glad things haven't changed over here. But, honestly, what's that about? Well, Square Nan can post. Go for it. I just took all that time to set up, and really by gunning standards that didn't take all that long, but... You people I fucking hate this community. This community should just die. Sometimes I'd rather have no one to play with than to play with absolute wastes of oxygen, okay? Stop saying okay after you say something. It's really stupid. It's alright to do it occasionally, but you're doing it too frequently, Doomlink. Get out of the habit. It's not how you should be talking. You were doing it as a joke before, but when you start to do it repeatedly, it makes it sound like that's actually how you talk, and it's not. So stop doing that. Anyway. What Fatalis is that? Is that black? I don't mind doing it with this group. Any person who names themselves Sigmund is probably an older player. It may also not be, but... To slay a legend. Fuck, is that... Oh, it's in the Eagle Isle. Okay, it's Crimson. It helps to check where the monster is for. Helps to narrow it down a little bit. To slay a legend. Well, the last time I fought Fatalis, I used Switch Axe. And Switch Axe actually, let me say that in a way that would make me appear as if I know how to pronounce English words. Last time I used a Switch Axe when I was playing against Fatalis, and the Switch Axe actually has a function. And that is to... with sword mode, attack without having to worry about bouncing at all. You know, it has Mind's Eye built in. And that's very helpful against Crimson and White Fatalis. This is Crimson Fatalis, so I could once again use Switch Axe, but I don't want to. Because again, I've already done that, so... When it comes to Blade Master, I have very specific weapons that I use, and it's usually either Hunting Horn or Switch Axe. But I could switch it up and use something different. Look, at the end of the day, guys, I really don't want to do this quest. In fact, I won't. I'm not in the mood for Crimson Fatalis. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry to do that to you. Those two people I just left behind, but I'm not in the mood. If I were in the mood, sure, but I'm not. I'll have to move on and find something else. If this is Brachydios charm farming, I'll be pretty pissed. It's very hard to find an actual Brachydios room that's not charm farming these days, because why make a room that's specific to Brachydios if you're not doing charm farming? That's the idea. Alright, what's happening? If you post what I think you're going to post, Mr. Guild Sabers, you're not. Oh my god, someone who actually wants to do Brachydios, I can't believe it, and it's standard Brachydios on top of all that. Talk about going against my expectations. You've almost shocked the pants off me. Oh, glitchy, yeah, see that guy? There were two very opposite reactions to what you just posted. Mine was very positive. Well, no, I think both of our expectations were dashed, but it was a good thing for me and a very bad thing for that other guy. What would I like to use? I would actually prefer to use something that's mobile. See, I'm telling you, it's going to take a while to get a good team for this, because people just want to do the gathering quest. The one where you deliver the subquest of killing Brachydios to get the charms. That's not what we're doing here. I'll bring in Seclave. It's not all that mobile, but it's mobile enough. What's it called again? Is it Evan? I know it's the Mizutsuner Insectlave, but what's it called again? Eventide? Is Eventide involved? It is! Eventide Kazanagi. I was starting to question whether or not Eventide was involved. I was remembering it, but I was thinking, isn't that a place in Breath of the Wild, Eventide Island? But yeah, turns out that's what it's called here, so that's fine. I do love it too. You've got that pink blade. It's a double-edged Naginata. How cool is that? Fairly cool is the answer to that question. Hello, Jazza. Howdy, says Corin in-game. Yeah, howdy indeed. The thing is, I would never say howdy. You know why? It's because the only way you're going to say howdy properly is to go, you know, howdy partner? You know, that kind of bullshit. Now, that's not how I talk, so I'm not going to say howdy. Why would I say howdy? You know, I'd say hello, like a normal person. You think I'm going to whip out the full-on Southern American accent. And you know what? Well, I don't want to say South American, of course. That means something rather different. South American accent. And then you go, howdy, partner, and people go, what's he on? Anyway. The point is, can you get away? The point is that howdy has that immediate southern connotation. And unless you talk like that, and have that accent, it's not quite right. It's not quite right. What are we hunting again? I don't even know. Brachydios. Brachydios. Texas intensifiers. Yes. There he is. I do enjoy the sound effect that plays. It's very fucking Metal Gear. Very Metal Gear. And I enjoy it. Because you didn't always have that sound when you were spotted. I enjoy that they added that. Oh, I've already consumed a cool drink. I thought I saw that my health was red and I instinctively consumed a cool drink, but that was totally unnecessary and marginally embarrassing. Nice thighs, love. Which, out of context, would be a little bit dismissive of a female to refer to them as love in that way. And it is something that I do rather frequently. You know, if there's a female that's pissing me off, I'll be like, yeah, alright, love. You know, give it a rest, love. You know, I'd say something like that. But this person's name is Love, so I'm just referring to them by the name that they've chosen to represent themselves using. Can we get in the trap, please? Are we all just unwilling to line up with the trap, or have we collectively failed to recognize its very existence? Do I need to do that thing where I ping? I think I do. This is getting ridiculous. I'm standing here doing exactly nothing, like precisely nothing, because you guys don't want to line up with the trap. Now, why do you need to be directed to do that? The trap is not here for literally no reason. It is here so that it may be used to the benefit of the team. That is not new information to anyone, or it shouldn't be anyway. I don't even want to read what this guy's fucking mounting message is. I'm glad that I'm blocking it, honestly. Anyway. Ugh. Just love the way he puts all his body weight into that swing. Yeah! Looks like it hurts, doesn't it? You would imagine that it would. Being on the receiving end of that. I'm sorry, I'm going to nerd out briefly. Every time I see a Naginata, I'm reminded of the character from Princess Evangile. And, or Princess Evangel, depends how you want to say it. The point is that that's a visual novel that I very much enjoyed in the past, some years ago. What was her name again? Started with K. I can't remember her name now. Oh, what a lovely play. Are you? Who did that? You're lucky that we can just hit the head, but who did that? I'm checking the weapons that they're using. So we've got dual knight or sabers. What the fuck are those? That's probably paralysis, is it? I was just checking to see if it was the gunner, because honestly, if the gunner is shooting fucking paralysis shots, to enunciate correctly, while the monster is standing in the lava, then that's pretty special. But I don't think that is what happened. And if that's not what happened, then that's fine. Oh, what am I doing? Fucking hell, I'm playing Insect Glaive. Let's get my colors. You guys are probably wondering what in the precise fuck I'm doing with myself. Well, sorry, I do know how to use Insect Glaive. I know it might be hard to imagine after what you've just witnessed, but, you know, I can do that. And that's, you know, hopefully an apt demonstration of how I can use Insect Glaive. I just forgot. I suffered a momentary lapse of understanding of how to use a fucking Insect Glaive. Hello, Joebs John. Oh, well, thank you. How do I pronounce your name? I do realise that it is a prerequisite of any person who makes a Twitch account to make a name that cannot be easily pronounced at a glance by people who may want to refer to them while live, but... so, what is this? Joebs John. I'll just say Joebs John. If it sounds extremely awkward, then good. Because there is simply no other way for me to pronounce it. As far as I'm concerned. I could also just call... Oh, it's German. Okay, well, you get a pass for that. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be culturally insensitive. If it's German, then it's fine. I'll call you John. How about that? I'll stop being an asshole now. I'll put a stop to it. Once I've consulted the relevant authorities. Anyway. Entschuldigung. I've chosen to be a dick today. One of my closest friends speaks German fluently, but I've learned nothing from him. It should be mentioned, I've learned nothing from that man. I've never requested a German lesson from him, but the interesting thing is, he's Slovenian. Like, he grew up in Germany, but he lives in Slovenia, so he speaks 3 languages fluently. Honestly, of the 3 languages he speaks, despite having lived in Slovenia, I think since he was around 8 or 9 years old, that would be the language that he speaks least fluently. His most fluent language would be English, and second to that would be German. And he's very fluent in German. But I've learnt fuck all from that guy. Oh well. But I knew enough German in the past to make a German co-worker of mine really have a laugh. And I won't get into that story. Because it's long, it requires a lot of contextual information to be shared. But, you know, it was good. She might have actually been in tears by how much she was laughing, but that's alright. Can I choose a mission? Of course. I think it's a turns room, isn't it? No, it's not. Oh, can I choose a mission? Well, that's a very bold question to ask, given that this is a room with an actual objective, which is Brachydios. Now, if it were not a Brachydios objective room, then it would be rather out of order for the person to refuse you your request, but it does say Brachydios, so you have to live with that, man. You've joined a room that says that, and you have to deal with it. No. I'm exactly the same. I have 2 German friends, and I don't know any German. Well, that's alright. It's not like he talks German to me anyway. But you know, whenever we talk about the anime we grew up with, for him, he watched that in German dub. You know, like he watched Shaman King, German dub, One Piece, German dub, probably Sailor Moon, German dub. I don't want to imagine Sailor Moon German dub. Can you imagine that? I can't. Oh. I don't want to start, you know, whipping out the German in like a pseudo-Japanese girl voice, but, you know, fucking hell. I'm sure you would love that, but I do have some semblance of shame, so I'm not going to do it. Could you imagine that combination? German language with very girly voices? I can't imagine it. But anyway, that sounds like hell. Sailor Moon in German. Scary, honestly. What was the quest again? Raytheon. Okay. Yeah, look, dubs, whether they are in English, German, or any other language, are not good. They're automatically not good, and the reason why is because it was made to be in the language that it was literally animated around. Not whatever language is dubbed over the top of it, so that is how it is. Someone sent me a friend request. Who's done this? Don't you love that I've got Zelda from Twilight Princess as my picture here? Sula? No. Olivia? Well, there's a larger version of my picture. I could have had this, but I don't know. Of all the pictures that I had access to, I felt that this was most representative of me. So, there you go. You can make sense of that in whatever way you see fit. What am I doing? What weapon do I want to use? Well, let's use longsword. It is... Oh, a guild card from Rathian. So, oh god. Look, I actually meant to refuse the friend request, but I refused the guild card when I didn't necessarily intend to do that, and I apologise. No, I didn't realise that love was Huntering 999. I'm sure I would have noticed that at some point prior to departing on the previous quest, but by the time I was in the quest, I'd forgotten. I knew that there was someone in the room who was Hunter Rank 999. Lord, asks Ace, well, it's very good of you to send me a friend request and then ask why I'm taking so long to fucking get ready. Imagine doing that. Can you believe that this guy sends me a friend request and his guild card and then has the temerity to ask where I am? He knows what I'm doing outside of the game. I'm dealing with his bloody friend request. I can't believe it. I am actually speechless, except I keep talking, so I'm clearly not speechless. Anyway. What the fuck is wrong with that guy? I'm offended by his stupidity. I'm glad I didn't accept his friend request. Fuck. I'm calling him out. His name is Sula. What's wrong with this guy? No, but really. It's like it was all part of his calculated plan. He wanted to be able to call me out, so he decided to distract me with his friend request, and then he got away with it, you know? He asked me where I was, and I was left so terribly embarrassed by that ordeal, and he revels in that, you know? That was his objective. He feeds upon my embarrassment. So, yeah. If you don't mind, Rathian, I'm gonna fail my spirit combo, yeah. I'm sure she wouldn't mind. Really, if I were to consult her on her preferences, I'm sure she would prefer that I fail my spirit combo rather than succeed in achieving whatever my objective was with said spirit combo, and it happens to be getting that last attack off, which levels up my gauge. And I do believe that of all the attacks in the spirit combo, that is the most damaging. That would stand to reason. Because if you've reached that last attack in the combo, you've probably been standing still for a while, so you deserve to be rewarded, at the very least, for having avoided being attacked by the monster for that long. If you do indeed make contact with the monster. That was a very fortunate flinch there. Oh, what a sad squandering of the opportunity. I feel very sorry for this monster, but I'm actually feeling more sorry for myself because all of the opportunities that I'm being given to pursue my spirit combo endeavors are being... Was this high rank? If I could go to the right option. What the fuck? Talk about a beatdown. That was a G rank Rathian. Oh my god. Well, nicely done, I guess, but that was enough to leave me feeling sorry for the monster rather than feeling that I had achieved something. Like, I'm not going to engage in some self-congratulatory oration about how we did so well. I mean, that was very sad. I almost want to hold a funeral for this monster after that experience. But anyway. That's alright. One of many Rathian monsters in the world, presumably. Her wings have sunk into the ground. So I guess we don't have to bury her. She's doing that on her own. Makes it easier. The earth is already consuming her. She's going back to where she came from. Look at that final picture. Look at that. Here we go. Toggle display. Check this out. Does that look like a Rathian who's having a good time? I'm literally slicing into her neck. And she, based on the face that she's making a sound somewhat akin to... And, you know, there's a guy between her legs and a guy on the outside. I mean, she's basically being assaulted. And she died shortly thereafter. So, it's a fairly violent affair. I went from being left a little, I suppose you would say, lugubrious, after having witnessed such a beatdown, but now I'm feeling rather good about myself. Yeah, I think that final picture added enough humour for me to feel like we did something good today. We entertained ourselves by completely and utterly destroying that Rathian. Nice eye patch with the Unart set, which is no longer called the Unart set. What's it called in this game? It's called the... Oh, it is still Unart. Okay. I swear I had seen another word for it, unless... Wait, the chess piece. Okay, Dragon Lord's... What's huh? Dragon Lord's Gaze. Well, I believe that was the... No, it wasn't the Anat set. That was an eye patch that I saw. So I guess the Anat set still retains that name. I thought that I had seen that very same set and then noticed that it had a different name. She looks like an actual NPC character. Love is an NPC. No, what Love is a person who actually engages in the transmog endgame of Generations Ultimate. I do not do that. I might do that at some point because, to be honest, by this stage I've probably amassed so many monster materials that I could probably get away with making a good number of transmog armor sets without having to actually go out of my way and acquire monster materials. But still, I have that lingering concern that maybe I will have to go and fight something specifically for that. Look, there's a lot of time and effort that one needs to go to. And to be able to make all of the transmog armor sets that one wants to make. And I'm not willing to put that effort in, sorry. I'm too used to not being able to do it, so I'd rather take the easy way out and just not bother. I'd rather just have ugly armor sets. That's literally the point that I've reached. If I had a female character in this game, maybe I'd care a little bit more, but I don't really mind all that much. I do have the quest. If no one else has it, then fine, but I'm not going to post it now and then depart with a dragon longsword that I literally just used, and then on top of that have myself dealing an inappropriate elemental damage style, damage type, yeah, damage type. Let's use Beyond the Firmament. Yeah. I had a flash of inspiration in my mind. That's right, Jezza. It's all about the stats, and then if you look good after that, then that's a bonus. I don't think there's any harm in transmog, but as you say, because we're not attached to looking good, the amount of time that it takes to make all those transmog armor sets is actually sufficiently prohibitive that we just don't want to bother with it. That's how it is for me. Oh god. We're really going to do this? On-site items only. I don't want to use a bow with on-site items only. But I guess tickets to make the Toyohisa sword would be helpful for certain people in this room. Precisely 2. Because I think Love and I would probably have it already. Well, I know that I do. I can't speak for Love because I don't know Love, personally. I don't know what she had for breakfast or any other intimate details about her, but... And, you know, intimate details relating to the fact that she's probably a guy. But, you know, I can guess that Corrin and Ace probably don't have the Toyohisa sword. Maybe I could use the Toyohisa sword and fucking flex on them. Let's do that. Fucking get a load of this, boys. And I do mean boys. Let's put all this away. On-site items only, everyone. You had a negative experience with Lao Shan Lung, so you haven't tried Transmog. And that ultimately comes down to the fact that you haven't played the game since you got destroyed by Lao Shan Lung. So, I'm sorry to hear that. Imagine departing on the quest with the weapon that the quest gives. It's less of a flex and more of an incentive. You know, I'm encouraging the team to get my weapon. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a bit of encouragement. I'm not making fun of anyone or trying to annoy anyone. Nice midriff. And nice midriff. And oh, I don't know where love is, but we might get a third feast for the eyes. I don't think I've done this quest since I got the sword, because I've specifically avoided it. The on-site items only is just annoying enough to make me want to avoid it. What's going on, love? Nice midriff! Alright, just had to confirm that there was such a midriff for me to praise. Anyway. Look, Lao Shan Lung should not have returned in this game. There is no reason for him to have returned. He's a bad monster. And they didn't make him good enough by improving the siege weaponry. Because you're still fighting this dragon who's just walking in a straight line. It's shit. It's a bad fight. It's one of those monsters that should be consigned to history. But they bring him back because apparently the Japanese players get a kick out of the nostalgia. There is no nostalgia for them. Because they keep playing the old games, and that's good. Keep Lao Shan Lung in the old games. Because those of us who do play the old games can suffer Lao Shan Lung. Not enjoy him, but suffer him. And that's good enough. Monster Hunter 1, Monster Hunter G, Monster Hunter Freedom 1, Monster Hunter DOS, Monster Hunter Freedom 2, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. That is 6 consecutive games where a monster who literally walks in one fucking direction was required to progress. You had to kill that fucking monster, and guess what? Some of the best dragon weapons were made from that very monster, so you weren't going to fight it just once. And you also had to go from low rank to high rank to G rank in many of those games. Well, actually only one of the 6 that I listed. No, 2 of the 6 that I listed, but still, the point is that you had to fight that monster so many fucking times. And then they have the audacity, the absolute hide, to say to themselves, presumably, I bet hunters need to experience Lao Shan Lung. You know, they're probably like, not oh, whoops, I need to go back and actually get some items to use for the quest. Fuck, I forgot this was on-site items only. Anyway. Yeah, the point is that Capcom obviously thought to themselves, well, people need to experience Lao Shan Lung if they haven't already. What I would say, actually, is that if they haven't experienced Lao Shan Lung, they're not fucking missing out on anything. I think they'll be okay. Seriously. They'll be fine. They can sit there and romanticize about what it might be like to fight Lao Shan Lung without having actually done it. Maybe then Lao Shan Lung could actually be a good monster in the minds of those who haven't experienced him. That would be great. It would be better for Lao Shan Lung. The point is that when you've actually fought him, you realize that he's bad. He's not interesting, he's not fun, he's nothing like that. At least Shen Galden is a little bit more enjoyable. Not by much, but at least there is the novelty of him being a giant crab. But I do hasten to add that if you fight him in the fortress, it's pretty shit. Fight him in the town. You want to fight him in the town. Anyway, there goes Corrin. Only just arrived and we've already got a dead fucking player. It's a good start. Literally the quest host is already fucking dead. Oh well, to be fair, I suppose we do have reduced health. No one has max potions. That's a bad start. Let's actually play a little better, shall we? Oh, this is fucking bad. I'm playing worse than I've ever played, and I'm sitting here making fun of people for dying quickly. I deserved all of that. I deserved all of what just happened right there. Can we restart? Please? I can't even... Maybe I do have a shout for it. I must have a shout for it. Let's have a look. Yes, yes, yes. Here we go. Should we abandon? Please, please, let's do it. Come on. Please? It's not worth... The quest has just started. Can we please not force ourselves to do the next 10 minutes of this hunt on one fucking feint? Can we please not do this? Guys! I'm seeing 3 people moving around without any attempt of a response. Fuck you people. You people are so incapable of evaluating the positives versus the negatives that you're willing to actually force yourselves to do what is effectively a one feint 10-minute quest over just restarting and not having to deal with that. Come on. Well, I don't know, Jezza. That probably would be my personal hell. But I've got a lot of things that I'd probably hate a whole lot more than playing Double Cross on 3DS while hunting La Shanlang. But it would be up there. Definitely up there. Anyway, why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we forcing ourselves to fucking fight this thing with one feint? I hate these people. It's just the laziness. It's the rank fucking laziness of not even wanting to restart for the benefit of the team, for the benefit of all of us. You know, we're all going to have such a better time if we just restart, but no. That would require not hunting the monster. Let's just keep hunting the monster and literally achieve nothing in what will be inevitable failure. If we don't fail, then great. I'm wrong and we succeeded, and I'm okay to be wrong. I can live with that. But to be completely honest, I think we're going to fail, and I think it's going to be really unrewarding. I think we're going to regret it terribly. But we'll see how things pan out. If we do fail, it's not going to be my fault, and I'll tell you why. Yes, I did contribute to the deaths, but I requested a restart, which was promptly ignored by the majority. I lost my purple sharpness, and the monster flinched out of my range. Mini whetstone. You know, there was a time when the effectiveness or efficacy of your sharpening thing really meant something. Can you believe that? A lot of you guys probably see all sharpening materials as equal. Mini whetstone actually sharpens your weapon to a lesser degree than your whetstone. And I think mini whetstone is matched by knife mackerel, which was renamed to wetfish. You can actually put a wetfish in your inventory and sharpen with it. There used to be an armor skill back in first gen PlayStation 2 Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter G, which would increase the amount that you sharpened when you sharpened. I'm not talking about razor sharp or speed sharpening or sharpness plus 1. I'm talking when you sharpen your weapon, you'll sharpen more of it. That's how the system used to be. And to be honest, it was better that way. I hate this fucking quest, man. It's a waste of my time. I've got the weapon. I'm literally here doing this quest that I don't enjoy doing, using the weapon that you get from doing this quest 5 times. Or perhaps less than 5 times. But the point is that, you know, I've done it enough. Leave me alone. I've got the weapon. I have to settle for what I can get at this point. I might not be able to get... Oh, stop it. I might not be able to get a level 3 charge off consistently, so I'd better at least settle for level 1 and level 2 Otherwise I won't be dealing any damage at all, ladies and gentlemen. So you have to live with the cards that you're dealt when it comes to greatsword. God, I'm fucking annoyed by this quest. If we do survive, then great, but I'm not going to be... I will not be enjoying myself while I do this. Okay? I reserve the right to feel acute displeasure in hunting in this quest. Yes, long swords that were great swords. Indeed, long swords were originally just weapon designs. They were not a different weapon type. So they fell within the category of greatsword and they functioned in that way. And I enjoyed them that way. Greatswords did not charge, as we know, as we understand it today, until Monster Hunter DOS. That was a second-gen implementation. Alright, let's get as much damage off on this monster as we possibly can. At least we got the level 3 charge off, or at least the first one, with purple sharpness. I do need to stay in purple sharpness. I need as much damage as I can get at this point. I don't want to miss out on damage by being too lazy to sharpen. See, this is what I mean. I would have been better off by just going for the level 1 than committing to the level 2. Committing to the level 2. We're not even talking about level 3 at this point. We're talking about level 2. Bad idea, ladies and gentlemen. Just go for the fucking... well, I would have gone for level 2 there, but unfortunately, I pressed the button to charge and I actually failed to charge, so I just stood there like a dick, doing nothing. Normally I wouldn't complain about the way Greatsword works, you know, just the fundamentals of... I have a new target. Well, I would have had a new target, but I'm now being punched in the face. I'm being falcon punched by the monster. I'm being supported by no one because no one can support me. No one has life powders because they were not included, so far as I know, in the box. I hate this quest. Especially because I don't need it anymore. Anyway, I was going to quite epically kill a Jagia who successfully hip-checked me. But I was falcon punched in the face, which chastened my efforts to attack the Jagia. I realized that I would have been better off actually shortening the length of the hunt, in the vain hope that we may succeed. Well, I don't know about the damage calculations. I don't think that would be accurate, Jazzer. I think it would be a little bit less. But yes, just Triangle on its own was the most damaging attack of the Greatsword. I don't think it was necessarily as strong as charging a Greatsword to level 3. I would guess that it was more akin to charging Greatsword to level 2. But what I'll do, just for demonstrative purposes, is I will play right now as if there is no charge function in this game, and I will try to demonstrate the traditional Greatsword for you. And the best way to do that is with this very weapon, because this is how Longsword used to work, what I'm about to show you. The most damaging attack of the Greatsword was this. Second most damaging? No, sorry, that's the least damaging. Second most damaging was this. That was your second most damaging attack. And then your least damaging was this. You'd usually do this. You would combo into that attack that I just did there, the overhead swing. Basically, you had your overhead swing. This was your combo. This was how you used Greatsword. This was it, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you used Greatsword back in 1st gen. your ideal was to combo into that overhead swing. That was your damaging attack. Now, they've actually sped up this combo, interestingly enough. You can go into this overhead swing much faster in this game. You used to have to wait until about this. Let me try to slow it down if it lets me. That's more like the timing. There you go. That's a bit closer. Still pretty fast and pretty snappy. Trying to slow it down as much as possible. See, the thing is, if you miss the window, you've missed the window. But yeah, back in first gen, it was pretty slow, but still satisfying. We did successfully complete the quest. I was being a little bit dramatic, but we shouldn't have put ourselves in that situation where we had to do it with one feint. That wasn't necessary. I don't like how this team operates, but whatever. Alrighty. I'll do one more hunt. And then we'll call it a recording. But before we do the next hunt, I will take a trip to the bathroom. I'll be back in a moment. This team is being very patient. How good of them. Wyverns all around us. Why? Because they can fly and reposition themselves whenever you choose to run away? Is that what it's supposed to mean? No, I'm sure it is some reference to the request that was given and indeed provided in the quest info. Let's make a quick decision. Hammer. Oh, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to have to... It seems that every time I use hammer, I use this thing. I don't want to do that. Let's choose a different weapon. What do I have? Toxic cactus? Obsidian frying pan? Have we reached this point where I must use these? Hold on. This is a good choice. Well, is it a good choice? I think so. Yeah, let's do it. Can I make use of the triple slot? No. This will have to do. This is a bit of a classic, ladies and gentlemen. The Iangaruga hammer. This is a bit of a throwback to a different time. But it is worth mentioning that this is much physically bigger than the one from 2nd gen and 1st gen. This is like a giant fucking version. Look at the size of it. My god, this is... It's like I've just deployed a cheat that enlarges my weapon. That's what it looks like. Yeah, look at the size of the fucking thing. This is out to destroy the monsters. You like the Ravager blade, huh? I thought it was an alright weapon design. It didn't excite me all that much, you know, as part of the standard ore, like iron ore path, like the ore path weapons. But I do use it a little bit in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate as my Ice Awakened greatsword. So the Ravager blade still has some use for me. They actually gave it a red tint towards the final upgrades for G rank. If you were wondering how I could have possibly positioned myself so poorly for those attacks, so I don't really have an explanation for you, to be completely honest, but anyway. Let's see if I can do a golf swing here. I sure can. Well, I don't have the stamina to get in position for that. Let's upswing on the turnaround. Do another golf swing if she goes on the ground. She has chosen to do that. I'm employing very 1st and 2nd gen tactics with the hammer right now, which are perfectly applicable in modern Monster Hunter, let me tell you. Well, I consider this to be modern Monster Hunter. Some people would actually go so far as to call this like traditional or old style Monster Hunter. Not to me. This is modern, thank you. But anyway. I'm being very aggressive with the hammer here. I'm playing as if I'm really quite taking the game seriously, but I'm just here having fun. What I mean to say is that I'm being more aggressive with the hammer than I normally would be. Oh, very good. Can I get that hit out? Yeah, that definitely made contact. Very, very nice. Where's my poison damage? You just basically prevented my golf swing. Good paralysis, though. I won't complain about that. Can you not? Show some fucking respect to the hammer user, you absolute dick. I basically dealt 75% of that fucking damage, so you'd better not flinch me with your shots. Goodness me. Maybe 75% is a bit overconfident. I knew you would be coming. Well, you could flash bomb and completely thwart my strategy. He was going to casually walk into my fucking trap, then you flash bombed him, so thank you for that. Now I'm out of position. But it's alright, it's not like we had communicated our intentions. Now he's enraged and in the trap, which means that he's going to be in here for less time. That's what it comes down to. I'm going to do that, except I wanted to position myself on the head, but I was jumping. Oh, that was pretty good. If we can get a KO out of this, that's going to be a fucking good run. Can we get a KO out of this, please? We didn't because I missed my golf swing, I think. Oh, well, he's already dead. Is this for real? Oh, it's HR8. It's not for real. I thought that we were so effective that we could kill 2 standard Hyper, Rathian, and Rathlos at G rank level, but we're not. Well, in this time, we're not that good. It's fucking high rank. What a shame. Why would you post a high rank quest? You got me all excited. You had me running in here, pretending like I actually cared about playing well. And it was just high rank anyway. Fuck off. I'm insulted. The thing with Hammer is that it's not worth using it unless you're willing to play well, because you have to consistently aim for the head. That's the best way to succeed. And sometimes, at least in reference to myself, I'm not willing to do that consistently. Some hunts I'll go for it, but a lot of the time I'm just in too much of a casual mood to bother. But I do value the hammer a lot. I suppose the best way to put it is that if I want to put more effort into my hunt, I would usually go for greatsword, so hammer gets left behind. The itch that is sufficiently scratched by greatsword leaves hammer sort of in the background, untouched and neglected. And I'm sorry, Hammer, for doing that to you. Alright, I think that'll do for this recording, guys. I do thank you all for watching. I've got other things that I want to do tonight. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy recording for you, but I've done my 2 hours and that'll do me for the moment. Especially considering that it's Generations Ultimate. You're more likely to see me do a very long recording in 3 Ultimate because I have an even higher level of enjoyment when playing that game. But I think I'm done for now. I do thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time I'm doing Monster Hunter or anything else that you'd like to watch. Bye bye for now.